Well, the U.S.-led foreign forces in Afghanistan have admitted that they have killed a number of Afghan civilians in two separate airstrikes. Now, in a statement, U.S.-led forces gave no details of how many civilians died in each incident, but local officials have put the number of civilians killed in the attacks at more than 20. Now, the incidents took place on May the 4th in Helmand Province and 2 days later in Badghis Province. In Helmand, 6 members of a family were killed, and an airstrike in Badghis claimed the lives of at least 15 civilians. On Sunday, Afghanistan's President Helmand Karzai held an emergency meeting with the NATO commander in the country and the U.S. ambassador. Karzai warned that Kabul's strategic pact with Washington will be at risk if U.S.-led forces continue to kill Afghan civilians. Let's switch over to Madison, Wisconsin, in the United States, joined by Professor James Fetzer, American philosopher. Thank you so much for being with us. It seems that almost on a weekly basis, or at least monthly basis, we're hearing about more Afghan civilians being killed. And then, of course, we always have the situation of the Afghan officials, some of the Afghan officials saying that they're not going to allow it to happen again, that they're going to put more pressure on Washington. But then we see a repeat of this story. Why are we seeing this reoccur, and why cannot the actual Afghan government stand up for its people? Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure. Those are excellent questions, and I think the fact of the matter is that the Afghan government has very, very limited control over the American military, that there's a process that's gone on here of depersonalization and training the young men and women to serve in the American Armed Forces, and that because recruiters have been under such tremendous pressure with these ongoing wars that seem to be interminable, they are becoming more and more resourceful at recruiting young men and women who in the past would not have been eligible for military service because they don't have either the educational background or they have some criminal record or for whatever reason. But in the end, I'm sorry to say, it appears to me that there's just been a tremendous loss of respect by the American military for the people of Afghanistan and Iraq, and it's a disgrace, and seems even to be rooted in some kinds of training they're being given where they're supposed to believe that Muslims are out to kill them when nothing could be further from the truth.
Well, Professor Fetzer, where does that leave the situation more than 10 years, almost 11 years now after the invasion of Afghanistan? And as you're saying, continual disrespect for the natives. What will it take now for basically the Afghan people to get the Americans and those who are also there supporting it out of its country? We know that now recently there's been a new pact that was signed between Washington and Kabul. What has to be done in your perspective in order for the U.S.-led forces to leave?
I think President Karzai has to take a more firm stand, that he has to draw a line, not in the sand, but in the mountainous terrain of Afghanistan, that says you must leave now. I predict, and I have said this before, that we are there to mine the vast deposit of lithium that has been discovered, perhaps the world's largest deposit, and to protect the poppy crops because the CIA has become the world's largest drug dealer. I'm terribly sorry to say, but this is the disgraceful state to which the United States and its military has sunk at this point in time.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being with us, Professor James Fetzer, out of Madison, Wisconsin, in U.S., an American philosopher.